Guys, a very good morning to each and every one of you, and welcome to a very special edition of FYI. For the fact that we are not in studio this morning, we are still in the Region 10. We in the mining town of Linden. We got some work still to tap here. For those of you who would have joined our broadcast last evening, we brought you some of what was happening at one of the what they're calling the water break is over. I'm back on the road, and those guys, the guys here in Linden, are still out there and are going to be out there until the 2025 general and regional elections and beyond that. Wherever you're joining us from this morning, do let us know if you're reading us loud and clear. So it's a very special edition of the morning program FYI because we are not in studio this morning, and I'm going to warn you up front if you get any um, sounds filtering in. You'll know why. You will know why. We are in a very confined space this morning, but we have to let you guys know some of the things that are happening at our end. What's happening where you guys are? How has the day started at your end? Do let us know, good folks. Do let us know how things have started at your end. And Dolly Anderson says loud and clear, and Debbie and Donna and all the usual folks. Folks, I'm in the mining town, and I wish you guys were here. The day has started beautifully, for me at least, beautifully to start it at this end. And I wish that you guys were here. Elderly Gilbert, and I see Paulette Graves and all of the other folks who are joining us this morning. We're still here. There's another one of those. The water break is over meetings this afternoon, and we want to get some of that for you guys on this morning, on this evening's program. Again, we're going to be here for the evening program, and so we have a lot of moving parts. So we actually have to start preparing for the evening program earlier than usual because we have a lot of moving parts in that broadcast. Guys, glad to have you here, and I hope that all of you are well. And do let us know how the day is starting at your end. Those of you who are joining us from the diaspora, those of you who are joining us from right here in Guyana. Some of you might be closer to me now that I'm in Linden. Those of you who are joining us from Kokwani, folks, we had to take the AC off because that was going to be rattling through the broadcast, and we didn't want too much excess of additional sounds that you might not hear usually. But we are going to get through the program. So if you all see me sweating a little more than usual, guys, you know why. You know, the program last evening started without any sound because we were running late and we didn't want to run too late again. Doing some minor edits to that program and that kind of stuff. But we wanted to show you how the program perhaps should have started, had all things gone as per plan last evening. We want to show you guys how the show last evening should have started and what you really missed out in terms of the audio. Because when we checked it back, some folks did tell us audio. We didn't click on the system's audio as we were starting. We were so happy to just start. We were so happy just to start the program. This is how it actually should have started. And again, all the pieces might not click this morning, but forgive us because we're not where we are usually hosting the program from this morning. But this is how last night's program should have started. Welcome to this very special edition of In the Ring. We are back in the mining town of Linden, Region 10, and what the folks are calling the water break is over. It's going to be a series of meetings, public meetings, moving into the 2025 general and regional elections. Folks, you all know wherever the action is, I want to be there as well. We're going to hear from a number of speakers. They tell us here in Linden, because why the water break finish? The water break is finished, folks, and a resounding victory here the hard work of Darren Adams, the hard work of the former regional chairman, and perhaps the next mayor of Linden, Mr. Sharma Solomon, has paid off. Themselves and team got a lot to applaud themselves for, but they're wasting time. They said the water break over, and today is the start of a series of meetings. We are in Blueberry Hill. We are on Blueberry Hill at the Foreign Corner Shop Corner, the Foreign Shop Corner. And folks, you're going to hear from a number of speakers. The rain has just relented a little bit. Thanks be to God for that. There are a number of folks gathering behind us, and we are looking forward to hear what they have to say to Lindeners and to Guyana at large. As I said, a very special edition of In the Ring. We want to be where the action is, folks, and we are boots on the ground in Linden, Region 10, Foreign Shop Corner. And this is what we have for you guys. So that's how the program should have started last year, but we had some other issue. It was me. I had one thing to do: click the system audio on. Once we went live, and we realized it very, very late, and hence at the beginning of last evening program, you had a lot of quiet. How has the day started where you guys are? You're telling us at our end it's 28 degrees outside. At our end, there's a 59% chance that it's going to rain. That's what they're telling us. 59% chance it's going to rain. And do let us know how the morning started at your end. You're going to see how I started my morning. So I'm not going to tell you right now what I'm having for breakfast and so on. But you guys are going to see how my day started very, very early. I'm eager to know how the day started at your end. Very, very eager to know how has the day started. Where you guys are joining us from. Again, it's 28 degrees where I am. Revise. Let me revise that. I was looking at Georgetown just now. They're telling us it's 27 degrees outside, and it's there's a 20% chance that it's going to rain. 20% chance. And the day started beautifully in the mining town of Linden. I hope the day has started wonderfully wherever you folks are joining us from. We see you there, Elizabeth Howard and Ariel Squires, Paul and Deborah Parker, and all the other guys who are joining us, Karen Mohammed and Susan Jacobs. Good to have you folks on the line. Ayabo, Natasha Congraves joining us this morning. Good to see you, Ayabo. I see Susan. Lynette Jacobs is here. Lynette says, I'm listening and grading my students' papers. Don't be too hard on them. Yeah. You might hear something on this program you're going to grade and say, F for you here. Don't be too hard on them. Folks, how was the day started where you guys are? Karen Temple says there's rain in Tampa, Florida. Wow. You're gonna see how the morning started at my end. I don't know how the day is gonna progress weather-wise, but Karen says it's raining in Tampa, Florida. Yeah. Well, if you guys are accustomed to a lot of sun there, as I think you are in Florida, you might welcome the rain. Don't know how much rain. Marv Alexander, we see you. Sheila Boy Child, we see you as well. I see Roxanne and Barbara Ralph Vesta. I see Junior. Sheila Boy Child says it's sunny in Queens. Sunny in Queens. Folks, I am coming up that way in another couple of weeks. And I should we have a link up? I'm coming up that side in a couple of weeks. Just to get to change the scenery, get some fresh air. We still gonna do the program, so we're kind of testing out our on the road mode when we don't have all the amenities as few as they are in the studio and all of that. How we gonna fare on the road? So we kind of testing that out in a sense. So when I come up that side, should we have a meetup, folks? Should we have a link up? Should we have a link up? I'd love to do that. I would love to do that. Let me see. Try to get some of these. Samson Ruth Sampson says there's a heat wave in the British Virgin Islands where she is. Ruth says there's a heat wave in the British Virgin Islands. Folks, it's cool outside right now because it's in the early hours of the morning, but it's just after 8 here. But because we have a couple lights on where we are so that you guys can see us clearly, it's getting a little hot and we're in a confined space because we ain't got the money like that to rent out some whole floor someplace to really stage the show properly. So we're in a confined space and we are making do. So I want to, Ruth, good morning to you, and Beatrice Selby. Beatrice says, yes, we have to link up. Deborah Pearson. Deborah says she is locked in from Washington State. From what is this like? Is this like Washington? Washington? My middle son, Ethan Lee, he was born in Washington. Yeah, yeah, Washington, George Washington Hospital, I think it was. Can't remember now. Mavis Davis Wells and all of you folks there. I would love to get a link up. Love to get a link up. Deborah Pearson, Sharon Alfonso Evans. I see you as well, Sharon. I see you there as well. Guys, let me know how your morning started. What are you guys having for breakfast? And then I'm going to show you how my morning started. Let me see. I see. Uh, Hold on. Gloria Skinner says it's sunny on the Linden Suicide Highway. So you closer to where I am. We may gotta link up. You closer to where I am. Ravi Dirup says bread and coffee. Ravi's real Guyanese. Ravi is real Guyanese. Ravi said bread and coffee. I didn't go too far from you, Ravi. I didn't go too far from you at all. Right? Didn't go too far from you. So I'm right there. Pamela Dover and everybody else who's joining us. I'm trying to get up to scratch with some of the comments, folks. Gloria says she's joining us from Linden Suicide Highway. We got a link, Gloria. We got a link. Dion Farmer says it's 79 degrees in Maryland. Joining us from Maryland, folks. It's all you allow us the privilege to say we have an international program because you all join us from so many places. Denise Sober, it's good to see you. Elizabeth Narayan is joining us from cloudy Sparkle City. The sun is trying to peep out. That is South Carolina, folks. South Carolina. I should say the sun trying to peep out. I think it's coming up here. I think it's coming up here. Vanessa De Silva, we see you there. And Sheila Boydchild, we see you. Deborah Pearson and all the other folks joining us. We see you guys as well. We see you folks as well. Great to have each and every one of you here with us, guys. Great to have each and every one of you here with us. Good to have you. Let me know how the morning started at your end. I see Beryl says she's having oatmeal. Did I read? No. This is Ariel Squires Paul says oatmeal. Oatmeal for breakfast. Good to have you. And you and your oatmeal. Good to have. Elizabeth, what are you having for breakfast this morning? Elizabeth, what are you having for breakfast? Do tell us what you're having for breakfast. Guys, we did tell you, and I'm telling you again, in the next few weeks, in the next few months, more of our shows are going to be staged ad hoc like this. We're not going to be in studio, right? Because we want to get on the road, see what's happening out there, talk with our Guyanese people at home and abroad. So when I come up north side, I ain't coming for Lime, coming to do some work there as well, because we want to hear from our Guyanese people at home and abroad. What are your challenges? What concerns you? Is the country heading in the right direction? Are we doing all that we should as a government, as an opposition? And how can we move this country forward? You know, those are some of the things we can be asking you guys when we link up. When we link up, but we are in Linden covering what's happening here. The water break is over. Darren Adams and the incumbent, the incoming mayor, should I say that? I don't know, but I think Sharma Solomon would make a fantastic mayor, and we're covering some of that. That's why we're in Linden. The water break is over. There's another meeting this afternoon. They are meeting in the folks come out and if you didn't know, and there's a meeting I think in the market. Let me get that. There's a meeting in the market this afternoon, and we're going to bring some of that to you later on in the day. But that shouldn't dissuade you from coming out. Mackenzie Market Square. They're going to be in front of Collie at 5 o'clock this afternoon, Friday, June 16th. They're going to be in front of Collie. They're going to be in front of Collie, Mackenzie Market Square. And I always feel special when I come home to Linden. You all know I born here, right? You all know I born right here in Linden. Folks, those of you who are now joining us, it's a special broadcast of our morning program. FYI, welcome to all of you. We're still in the mining town. We're still in Region 10. We got one more meeting to cover this afternoon at the Mackenzie Market Square. I was born at Mackenzie Hospital. So proud of that. So important. I got bauxite in my veins, right? I got some timber and some lumber as well. Bauxite in my veins. I want y'all to know that. I want y'all. I wish I could have said born and bred. But I left Linden when I was very young. Still got lots of family here. Shout out to the family. Shout out to the family, the Daniels, the Thompsons, the everybody who here. Yeah, in Linden. I got a Henry here too in Linden. The Henrys, the Daniels, the Thompsons here in the mining chong. This is my born. You all didn't ask me doing here, come home. Like when you touch down at the Dragon International, the people see your Guyanese passport asking you, what is the purpose of your visit? I come home. You see my Guyanese passport. Why are you asking me what's the purpose of my visit? I can't revoke my visa here. Got my Linden visa. Citizenship. Folks, I'm in the Democratic Republic of Linden that has just songly rejected the PPP. Songly rejected the PPP. The Democratic Republic of Linden. And folks, I want to thank Marlon Thomas, who has just made a contribution to our program. And we tell you guys, when you contribute to our program, it's not for that we live big and large. It's so that we can get out there on trips like this and bring you guys what's happening in some other places. I want to thank Dolores Dover, who's also made a contribution to our program on YouTube. On YouTube, in the comment section, there's a dollar sign there. You press the dollar sign, it's going to tell you to purchase an emoji or something like that. And part of that comes to our broadcast to keep us moving forward out there, folks. Take a look at how my morning started. Take a look and take a listen, folks, at how my morning started. Let me make sure I have it queued up. Right? This is how my morning started here at this end in the mining town of Linden, Region 10. It's early morning in Linden, and that's just the fog outside. It's cold, and that's the fog outside. So that's on the outside. I'm heading to breakfast in a place called Tropical Delights, and then coming back to get the show done. Morning. And then coming back to get the show done. It's early here. It's 5:20. Heading for breakfast early, and then come back and put the pieces of the show together. And you guys will be seeing some of this. It's beautiful here. It's a heavy mist here. It's just this is the norm. This is anything out of the ordinary. Somebody's up and taking a jog, and at the back of the t-shirt has fit and proper AFC. What are the odds of that? Fit and proper AFC. And again, it's just some of the early morning scenes here. I am on the outskirts of Linden, and I'm heading more into the township now at a place called Tropical Delights. They have wonderful food. That's like the only place I eat when I come to Linden. Yeah, I like licorice though. Like the only place that I eat, they always have fresh food, and they are 24 hours they work. And I always tell you guys, we got to get out more and see more of our country. It's such a beautiful country. And Linden is very special to me because this is where I was born. I was born at Mackenzie Hospital, Linden. 1979, the 30th of June. The 30th day of June, 1979. It was a good year. It was a good year. I say so myself. It was a good year. Alright. That's just some of what I'm seeing outside my window. I am coming off of one of the auxiliary roads and heading onto the main road leading into the township here. And just for your purposes, that's the time, 5:23 a.m. I have my fog lights up. Let's see if I can give you guys a better sense. Alright, so I turn off. Foggy. It's very foggy here, and the camera's internal mechanism is actually brightening this up more than it really is. I'm not the only person who's up. Clearly. I'm not the only person. Heading to breakfast. So I'm pulling up on my eatery. This is a 4-corner junction, 5-corner junction. Am I confident, right? And I'm heading for breakfast. These guys work 24 hours and I love it. Because the electricians don't tell you when to take care of you. So I'm gonna head in here for a couple minutes. Alright. This is gonna be some real rough cut video this morning. Region 10 has a lot of timber. Region 10. And this is Tropical Reflections. I say Tropical Delights. Tropical Reflections. Tropical Reflections. That's the name of this wonderful place. And like I'm gonna grab my little breakfast here. See, they're already opened and a lot of stuff. I'm already seeing some bacon in the back, so wonderful bacon in the back there. Nice pot bacon in the back there. Gonna have some of that. How are you doing? Morning. Look. Oil fry provision, salt fish. You don't have pepper pot. Folks, they have pepper pot. Can you imagine that? This time of year, pepper pot. I'm gonna take pepper pot and you got float. I'll take floating. Curry beef on the side. Belanja. This hour in the morning. Curry chicken. I don't want to embarrass myself, but I would actually have curry chicken right now. and they have stew fish. But I'm feeling for this pepper pot this morning. And again, already open and fresh stuff. The girls, she can help me out. So I'm going with float bake and pepper pot. Float bake and pepper pot. That's what I'm going for. All right. So because I know y'all fast, like me, here's some of that breakfast. Lovely pepper pot. I'm having pepper pot with some float bake. What do you guys call that if it's not float bake? We call it float bake. This in our family. We don't call it float bake. I'm having some hot chocolate. Some hot chocolate there. And to start the show, the pepper pot. That's how that's going. All right. Let's head back to some more news and information. It doesn't include pepper pot and float bake and hot chocolate. All right, folks. So that's how that is how breakfast went. That's how breakfast went. And so let's get through some of the stuff we want you guys to take a look at this morning. That's how breakfast went. That's how breakfast. Still got some to finish. Pepper pot. That's what I love about tropical reflections. Any time of the year, you're going to pepper pot. I have pepper pot in anything. Pepper pot and cook up, pepper pot and float bake, pepper pot and pot bake. I don't know what you guys call it. Because I realize we don't all call it the same thing. We call it float bake. Right? But you guys have a different. Pot bake is the other one. And I have pepper pot with anything. Pepper pot and chung men pepper pot. And God, I'm reading my blood, folks, on my father's side. I want you all to know that. So, folks, we want to touch on some of the stuff we're covering in the morning papers. And we saw yesterday a truck, a van, a SUV drove off Sterling, Puerto Rico Sterling. Yeah. That's the color crossover. Overboard. Yeah. Any day in Guyana is a day like that. We want to touch on some of the stuff we're following in the morning paper. I see some of you caught up on the food. Hold on, but let me step back. Hold on. Some of you caught up on the food. Fry bake. Yep. I thought fry bake was the the little ones that they put in you put float bake in a lot of oil too, but the little ones that come out a little harder than float bake. I can't remember what you call it. I thought that's what you call fry bake. So float. I have pepper pot and float. Got some left back to finish up after the show. Pot bake and pepper pot. I think pepper pot goes with anything, right? Pepper pot and fried rice, pepper pot and plain rice, however you want it. Pepper pot is that kind of eclectic kind of food. You can mix and match with anything. Yep. Naomi said those bakes are called teacher girls. I thought so. I grew up hearing them being called pretty as well. I don't know why. Pretty, teacher girl, bakes, or what have you. A good morning. I can try some cooking on the program. I is a master chef, You see, when I get ready, I don't cook a lot because when I cook, people who taste the food don't want to go home. Don't want to go home. So I cook very sparingly. So, folks, a couple of the things. Let me see. Floats. Arlene Ruben Benjamin says they call them floats. All right. Granny belly. That's a first. You call them granny belly. That's a first. I've never heard that. Right? Hold on. Folks, Delvern Sampson said the little one, you call them monkey ears. Now that's quite something. I have never heard that. Monkey ears. The float bakes. Somebody said you call them granny belly. I have never heard that. Monkey ears. Right? I've never Andrea Alexander says that pepper pot and fufu is class. Look, story now. I never tried a combination. But folks, where there's life, there's hope. Never tried a combination. Yeah. Float bake and pepper pot and fufu. Gotta try that too. Andrea says it's real class. Andrea Alexander, real class. Bellamona, you know about monkey ears? I've never heard monkey. It's called monkey ears. Never heard that. Right, but a lot of you heard teacher girl. I see John Watson says soft bake. You call them soft bake as well. You see all the variations. all the variations of it. I know they call teacher girl, plitty, float bake, and pot bake. That is the variation. Folks, when I lived in South by the shopping plaza, we had a neighbor at the back, Diane, God rest her soul now. That woman was a master at pot bake. I've never had pot bake like I've had at Diane house. You know? They used to sell ice. Sometimes I used to turn up and buy ice. I want ice, you know, it's the bake. I really want teeth piece. All right? Master at float bake. I have never had float bake so perfect like at Diane's house. Beautiful. God rest her soul now. Shout out to the kids, big grown children now, but shout out to them nonetheless. Perfect, perfect pot bake. I never had pot bake like that, even in my own house. But my aunt Elizabeth, she's a master. At least when I know she used to think she pot bake, or float, she was a master blaster at float. Folks, Faye knows about her monkey ears. I have never heard these bakes called monkey ears. It's where y'all grew up. Where y'all grew up. I have never, you see, I won't get into the morning papers now. Y'all got me stuck here. I have never heard these bakes being called monkey ears. Where y'all grew up. So it might be peculiar. Yeah, but he said, is we grew up, he really grew up at the privilege. He don't know, but monkey ears. I have never. Elizabeth, no, Ryan, have you ever heard these bakes being called monkey ears? I've never heard that. Never heard it in my life. Right? Alison Jones says monkey ears. Donna McDonald says, well, float, I would recognize. I don't know, is it monkey ears y'all call soft bake too? Right? My Lord, I've never heard that. No, first thing, let me tell you this. I don't want to eat nothing named monkey ears. I don't, I don't want to eat nothing that name monkey ears. Right? I want to eat that name monkey ears. Hollis Charles says pepper and bread. Hollis is where you grew up, man. Hollis says pepper and bread. Right? Pepper pot and bread. More likely, pepper pot and bread. Right? What is Saza? Sazza. I don't know. I don't know the name of that. What is Saza? Right? Right? Elizabeth Narain says she has heard these bakes called monkey ears. I have never heard it in my life. It's a good thing I ain't that young. I wouldn't know that. Right? She says she's heard about monkey ears, but granny belly is a first. It's where y'all grow up. Granny belly. You had to look at your grandmother's belly. I've never seen my grandmother's belly in my life. So I don't know the comparison, but granny belly. Elizabeth said that's a first. It's a first for me. Monkey ears is a first as well, right? Monkey ears, Donna says, Delvern says, monkey ears is called teacher girl and also soft bake. Well, I understand that now. All the variations, you see, one country we live in, and it's one thing. Right? Got so many names. You see why the chair in this country confused? Monkey ears is soft big is pretty. Pretty is teacher girl. All of these names, right? Well, I understand. Karen says it's the shape of the bake that you call it monkey ears. I ain't want to eat nothing. Monkey ears. But I take what you guys are saying. I take what you guys say. It's not surprising how we all grew up in the same country, but we share different experiences of the same thing. Folks, let us get through some of what we're covering. You see, y'all sidetrack me now. Let's get through some of what we're covering this morning. And because here getting like an oven and I make turn out like a bake just now. Start looking like a bake, sweating and gonna be drying my face and so on. And you see the makeup running and all that. Sister. Somebody say, oh, my belly. Hold on. Destiny says, fried jack. What's fried jack now? What is fried jack now? Folks, we still talking about the same thing. Huh? We still talking about the same thing. Fried jack. Right? And then out front parts talking about pumpkin bake. What's pumpkin bake now? Right? Fayan Ross says the Amerindians call it, our indigenous brothers and sisters call it monkey ears. I don't know that. Right? I don't. What's fried jack and mazza? But so much for food, folks. right? So much for food. And then somebody says that um, Trisha Gilbert says that monkey ears, soft bake, planka platter, planka platter. Folks, we gonna do a whole series on the variety of bakes you got. Planta platter. What is planta platter now? What is planta platinum? Folks, some of the stuff we following the morning papers, of course. But let's start to just have this big talk because we ain't gonna finish, we ain't get through this program, right? We ain't get through this program. All right. I see Yvonne Green says pepper pot and bami. What the devil is bami? You're sure we grew up in the same country? What's bami? I don't know if when you're feeling bami, it's like you're feeling a little a little high. But pepper pot and bami, right? What is bami? Right? All right. Anton Nicholson says I just call it pluka pluka. What the devil is this? What is pluka pluka now? Planta planta. We couldn't all grow up in the same country. We couldn't. Folks, let's get through some of the stuff we got happening, folks. In the morning papers. Here's some of the stuff happening internationally, folks. First up, peace mission. They're telling us this is in, where is this again? This is in the Ukraine, is it? Is it in the Ukraine? I think it is. You have, yeah, this is the Ukraine. We have the African nations, some of the African nations. There's so much conflict in the world. I'm trying to remember where this specific one is happening. Now, this is the some African nations have come together and they have a peace mission to the Ukraine. And even as they're there, there's big shelling and bombing taking place. Even as they are there currently, trying to bring some perspective to this issue here of this conflict between Russia and the Ukraine in this region in Europe. There is still fighting taking place as you have this African peace mission on the ground there. So that's part of what we're following this morning. And let me see if we can do this way. Yeah, Boris Johnson is still in it, folks. Resigned last week as an MP because he saw this report coming, got wind of the content, and resigned as an MP. My Lord, how the mighty have fallen. I hope the PPP take a note. I hope they take a note how the mighty have fallen. The good book says suddenly. That's how the Lord has cut them off. Suddenly. That's how far this cut them off. Boris Johnson, some deep trouble there. The folks said that he really went overboard. Strong-handing some of the committees there, lying to members of parliament. And during COVID, when other people got to observe the COVID protocols and regulations, them boys partying, them boys having big, lavish party and so on. I want to tell you something. I have noticed something in this life. You got some bad people, right? Other people just come and move them out of the way. And you got some others, they's their own worst enemy. They is their own worst enemy. Trump is like that. Only Trump could defeat Trump. The same way only Boris could defeat Boris. I've been following Boris' career a long time, since he was mayor of London. Always had this outlandish way about him. Only Boris could defeat Boris. And that's what's happening. His own action. And that's what they're saying. His conduct was deliberate. Right? Defying the regulations of COVID-19. Defying, what would have been standard practice. And now he's come to this inglorious end. Had to resign as prime minister a couple months ago. Liz Truss took over. She didn't last too long either. And now you have Rishi Sunak there. And now having to resign as a member of parliament because he was going to be censured by their parliament there for these egregious acts. They don't lie to parliamentarians. At this end of the Atlantic, we do it with impunity. We do it with impunity. So some of that is what's happening internationally, folks. The Pope just finished abdominal surgery. Lots of folks are talking about his health. The Pope had some abdominal surgery recently. They said he's doing fine. When they start talking about the raising health concerns to the Pope, there's some people inside trying to push out, right? They want him to go the way of Ratzinger. What what was he? Pope. He was Pope who? The German fella. Ratzinger was his given name. He was Pope. No, this is Pope Francis. You all help me out here. But he's not going to go. I don't think this Pope is going to go. The Pope, like the Queen, is an office for life. Only death is carried out. You see? And then they go back to conclave and so on. Ratzinger get fed up with them. All the pressures left, right, and center. And he became Pope Emeritus and died recently. I think Francis should stay on. You don't want the kind of turbulence, another Pope resigning and all that. No, this is a job for life. And I think he can do it. I think he's in such ill health, unless they're hiding something from us. He had some abdominal surgery. Got to go. You know, I met a 90-year-old woman yesterday. I was coming up to Linden, right? Just had hip surgery. Right? Lady said, bounce back. I got to go again. Right? Perfect eyesight. You know, doing well. You got good health care. You can live a long, productive life. All our faculties are intact. You know, one of our, might be listening to us right now, one of the ardent viewers and listeners to our program. And her daughter called me and said, please come by, right? And say hi to mommy as a surprise, right? Well, mommy's a fireball at 90. Fireball at 90. Something I was telling her, she said, I'd give you one fireball at 90. The poor meter yet. You see, hip surgery and try to push and push you back. That's why it's not your real friends, you know. You take ill. You take ill. That's how you know your real friend. The Pope, people raising health concerns, had abdominal surgery recently, and doing good. Doing good. You know, the stars are aligning. If you see some people acting a little thingish, little more weird than usual, the stars aligning. You know, the scientists are telling us that a number of stars are going to align. This is not every day this happens. 5 planets, they tell us, are going to align in a couple of days' time, if not a couple of hours. This week, Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, Uranus, and Mercury are going to be in alignment. Right? Like that. That don't happen often. That don't happen often. Right? You see? That's how it's going to happen. They're going to be aligned like that. Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, Uranus, and Mercury. If you believe in the planets and the stars and so on, you're going to say, well, listen, this might be my lucky season or my unlucky season. Right? The stars are going to align, folks. For some folks, we hope it's aligned for everybody. Autonomous vehicle. Folks, when I go up north, I have to try one of these autonomous vehicles. These are the vehicles, nobody driving it. Automatic, artificial intelligence, and so on. I got to try one of them, right? Could you, I am picturing myself in the back seat and nobody in front, and it's not Obio, the vehicle driving itself. They said 2 of the companies there, I think it is, let me make sure I get the notes right. It is Mercedes-Benz and Microsoft. They're teaming up to test the GPT chat, artificial intelligence, AI, language learning thingy, in vehicles, right? So they're not comfortable just having autonomous vehicles driving themselves and so on. They're going to try to make it more smart now. More smart now. So they're going to try to test GPT chat. And that's one of the latest AI softwares out there, and one that has really and truly been a catalyst to lots of the artificial intelligence, what do you call it, mechanisms, whatever you have there out of reach. And we use some of them to curate news and information, our program as well. So used correctly, I think they can be of benefit to all of us, but used incorrectly, not so much. So I want to test, folks. Are these vehicles available? I know they use them as taxi services in some places, like for Uber and so on. Are they available like in Brooklyn, Queens, New York in general? I really want to test one out when I come that way. Guys, link your boy, right? Link your boy. If these vehicles are available, like how you would call an Uber in the US, in Brooklyn and Queens and so on. Are these autonomous vehicles? I want to test one out when I come, right? When I come. No, some y'all say it's over here. Nobody in the front seat. I can see somebody else start speaking in tongues and sprinkling holy water. So what nonsense is this here? Brother Jesus. But I got a test one out. They're making them even smarter. So I want to see how that is going to go when I'm on the road in the US, how that's going to go. I tell you in the back seat and the vehicle just going where it got to go. Take me home, kid. This is Night Rider come alive now. Night Rider come alive. Look what else we're following, folks. Regionally, a couple of things happening we want to share with you guys. The World Health Organization chief, right? The Secretary General for the World Health Organization, Thados Ghebreyesus. He is in Trinidad and Tobago and commended the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago for his handling of COVID-19. How come them are coming here and commend Arfan Ali and them boys? How come? How come? You know why? Oh, we break more regulations than we had. We break more regulations than we had. Like anything else, if you know somebody in authority, you can hold your party way past curfew time, do anything you want to do. Open your bar as long as you want, bring in as many people as you want, once you knew somebody. If you didn't know somebody so much, harassment. I remember James Bond with his place up on the East Coast almost every day. They're shutting down Bond. Almost every day. We had different strokes and still got it. Different strokes for different folks. The folks commended the Trinidadian Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, on his handling of COVID-19 governance. Yep, as I said, the chief, the World Health Organization chief himself, Thados Ghebreyesus, he is in Trinidad, and folks, you gotta do what you gotta do. Good governances do that. Right? Good governance can bring you before great men. Them man want to do anything they want to do. And they still want to go in the White House. I meet with Biden and so on. No. Take Kamala. Right? They still want high profile meetings and they want to operate with impunity. Can't work like that. So congrats to Trinidad. Long after we fling out regulations, COVID, Trinidad spoke to their people. I give that to Keith Rowley. He's always talking to his people, much the way Mayor does in Barbados, and telling them it's going to be a phased system of coming out of COVID-19. We just drop everything one day. Drop everything one day, just like that. And it's PAHO, the Pan American Health Organization, and also the World Health Organization that have been telling us we got to prepare ourselves for the next pandemic. We can't wait till we get there. We can't wait. If I'm missing for the whole local government elections, it's only the big head one talking all the time. All the time. Khaled missing, Irfan missing, Vishnu Prasad missing, the whole pack of them. That's why I agree with the hen the other day. You got to sail them out to sea. Sail them out. The whole pack of them. Sail them out to sea. So that's what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago. In Jamaica, folks, on the front with this, these are 9 subjects examination papers that were stolen from this school in Jamaica. The CXC authority said that these examinations are still going to go forward as per normal. That's going to change. So kids, encourage your kids to keep studying. Encourage your kids to keep studying for these exams. And we wish them well. I'm assuming they're going to set new papers, but they said keep studying. The exams are going forward as per normal. So don't think y'all teaching the papers is going to cause any delay in the exam and more study time. They said the exams are on schedule. Perhaps they're wiser now and they're not only setting one paper when they're doing them annually, but they're setting multiple papers, bracing themselves when the Caribbean and y'all step out. You're going and teach all the people papers. And this report said they didn't see the papers, they thieved the whole cabinet. The papers were in. The whole cabinet. I wish they thieved the whole cabinet that we got in the country. And I'm talking about the papers cabinet. The whole other cabinet, because them is a set of useless papers. The people thieved the whole cabinet. Thieved the whole cabinet. I don't know if it's the papers they were after or the cabinet. Now that I've read that. They thieved the whole cabinet. They said the cabinet was fireproof. It wasn't theft-proof. That's the problem. You get theft-proof, fireproof cabinet. The whole cabinet. I wish they team this whole crossing cabinet that we have here, but that's what CXC telling us this morning. That is what CXC telling us. Gotta speak truth to power. Speak truth to power. I see you there, Stacey Paul, Michelle Innes, Voir de France, and all you other folks joining us this morning. We see you. We see you, boo. We see you. We see you. We see you there. And guys, those are some of the things we are. Those are some of the things we are following regionally. Regionally, we back in the 592. Some of the stuff we're following at home. Them boys. Them boys. Never an easy day. Never an easy day. Tip. Trafficking in persons. They're trying to traffic us, you know. The last election, the 5,000 on a t-shirt, 10,000 on a box of cook-up. It's traffic. They're trying to traffic us. Trying to traffic us. The U.S. authorities are telling us we're still in Tier 1 thanks to the Granger-led administration that brought us the Tier 1 status. You know, they've managed to maintain it. Kudos. But they said they want to see more prosecutions. And not only prosecutions, they want to see, you know, some cases are so glaring. You know who the culprits are. You know who the criminals are. Right? They want to see more prosecutions and more convictions. That's what Americans are telling them. Right? And they have a slew of things to implement to bolster the system. David Granger-led administration brought us to Tier 1 status, and nothing then functioned. And before them, you know, we went on a set of blacklists all over the place, right? But kudos, they've struggled to maintain it. Remember the FBI met with Anil, right? They had to read them the right act. They said to them since then, we don't want to only see people passing through the courts, prosecutions, but they got some glaring cases that should lead to convictions. But again, it's who you know. And it's who know you. Friends, family, and favorites. So even though we've maintained Tier 1 status, we got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do so that we don't end up like Trinidad right now. Trinidad is Tier 2. They got to do a lot of work, a lot of more work. That's what the folks are telling us internationally. That's what's happening. Yep. Trafficking in person. It's traffic, the traffic, traffic. And some people take trafficking. Trisha, geez, you in there take trafficking. 10,000 and a box of cook-up. Yeah, y'all boys, even though they lose, they're still in the party. But you have to try for safe face. I didn't expect anything less, but we're coming down to that. They're telling us this young man who lost his life as a result of this robbery, this lieutenant this Coast Guard lieutenant who lost his life recently was shot by bandits. They're telling us he was a random target. Right? These guys were promised $700,000 for a certain kind of vehicle, and they didn't care if it was he or me or whoever had the vehicle, they were going to be the target. And that's what they're telling us. At least that's what they're reporting. That it was just unfortunate that he was the person who had that particular kind of vehicle that them boys are paying $700,000 for. Folks, people who work hard and struggle to make ends meet, and then you got some jerks coming to add to your burdens, right? Because they don't want to work hard. They don't want to work. You take out a loan. You got to give a kidney, you know, with some of the installments, and people work diligently every month, you know, trying to meet those obligations and so on. And then you got these guys not being held at bay by the police. No. Not being held at bay by the police at all, but acting with such impunity. I'm talking about the bandits. And I ain't come to the cabinet yet. I'm talking about the other bandits. You know, as I was coming up to Linden, there was a roadblock, as there are many roadblocks. You know, you think they're working in the interest of somebody. I saw with my own eyes. The policeman puts his hand in the vehicle, right? And when he pulled it out, there was money, and he passed it to his colleague who was part of the roadblock. You know? He passed it to his colleague who was part of the roadblock. He gave me a little thing from it. And I said, wow. I understand in that moment why the Lord had to march Moses and some of them rest around the desert for 40 years. You can't carry everybody in the promised land, you know. Some people got left behind. You can't carry the attitude forward in a new Guyana, you know. But that is what them boys seeing. Friends, family, and family say, well, I got to live too. I got to eat. I got to live and I got to eat. Them boys say, them boys got a quote, you know. This week I got to raise 200,000. You see the little thing I called the little SETI and the thing, and so I gotta get that. Everybody's got a target, child mother, wife, this body, side chick, and all that. Gotta get. And so you become the unsuspecting victim. I saw my own eyes. The policeman reached his hand inside of this SUV, and gave him back his money and passed some to his colleague. Like that. I said, wow. Right? I too late. I don't have enough time to stand up and lecture them there about professional conduct and all that. You see, I was coming to Linden to get some credible, valid information. I watched them and I said, well, Lord have mercy. Lord have his mercy. Lord have his mercy. Random target. So this young man's life just gone down like that. Just gone down like that. They've arrested two fellas, one Joshua Paris and one Randy Wright, for the murder of this Ghana Defense Force Lieutenant Rondell Douglas. They arrested two guys, but we hope justice prevails, and we hope justice is served. Because again, I tell you all the time, thanks to Nigel News, it's not the confession, it's not the lockup and all that. It's conviction. That's what the folks asking for the trafficking in person tip. We only want to see prosecutions, but convictions as well. I mean, you're just convicting people for the sake of having conviction, but doing the work. If people are guilty, they must serve time. They must pay a fine, whatever the law allows. Right? And we got to get strong on crime. I don't think Robeson is strong on crime. I think you'd be hard-pressed, to impress anybody that Robeson is strong on crime. Robeson should move out the way. You got some criminals right in there. Over the last 24 hours, I saw a long missive being penned from one of our indigenous young people, how she was raped by a minister of government. Right? And these narratives are getting louder and louder and louder all the time. It's not the first girl. It's not the first girl. You see, and in a whole long missive, she articulates how the whole thing started, how she ended up as a target. Right? You got people in government trafficking people. That's trafficking. Grooming people, right? You're in a position of power and you're abusing that. In a position of power and you're abusing that. You're a minister of government, you texting a 16-year-old, how you doing? I want to make sure you're in the pageant and this and that and so on. Must come by my office. I'm coming up in the region and we spend some time together and all of that. It's a whole ring of them, It's a whole ring of them. But God don't sleep. Stink, wicked and dirty. And I telling you earlier on, some people, you can't take them down, You got the power and the authorification, according to Margaret Lawrence and the late Andreas O'Brien. You don't have the authorification. They are the own worst enemy. And give them some time. Right? And enough rope, they hang their own self. A long rope for Magadog. Oh, y'all have a different version like the float bay. Long rope for Magadog. Miss can cringe when I read what that young woman said. You see? And you're protecting some criminals on the inside and on the outside. And on the outside. I have a strong suspicion there are elements in the Ghana police force in cahoots with these guys, getting a cut, to keep them one step ahead of the law. Getting a cut. And this young man lost his life so senselessly, right? The man out there working for his family, lieutenant. Could you imagine in any other country, you're a lieutenant, you set for life. You don't need another work. You don't need another work. This 592. And are you jumping up out there? You see, a lot of folks didn't take a lot of time to rationalize it. But when Granger opted as against year-end bonus, for increasing salaries so that people can retire with a higher pension, you didn't see the wisdom, right? Bonus is come and done, you see? And the struggle continues. Bonus is come and done. The struggle continues. But when you got an extra money coming in every month in your salary, and then you got a nice big pension at the end of it, can't go wrong. In any other country in the world, you'd never find a lieutenant in the defense force working taxi. Where you gonna find that? Working as an Uber cab driver. Where you gonna find that? Any other country in the world, you're a lieutenant, you set. Not only you set, your family set. But in 592, the struggle is real. The struggle is real. And as I said, random target. Random target. They didn't say we'll be going after Joshua Rondell Douglas. In particular, he just had the right car. Right? He just had the right car for them. 700,000 is the market values, the elements put in it, and two of them went after him. Shot that young man. Shot that young man down like a dog. Shut that young man down. For what? For what? For what? Let justice prevail. Let justice prevail. Folks, I don't think if we live 2 lifetimes, we can see a people's mayor, like Mayor Ubraj Narain. And I believe with all my heart, soul, and sinews, had he had the resources to do more for the citizens of Georgetown, he would have done more. I called up with him yesterday afternoon in Sophia, making the rounds, telling people thanks for supporting him and letting people know that he's going to be going, on the ground. He said he walked into the last day, saw him commissioning some compactors recently as well, and now making the rounds in Sophia. Right? Heard he was joined by James Bond for a piece of the tour there. That's another story, but he's a people's person. I know. He's a people's person. The other one, that other one, happy she was soundly rejected in the Constitution. And she didn't end up in a PR because she didn't have the courage to go first past the post. So she might end up back at City Hall. 20 odd years at City Hall, nothing to show. I wish better sense prevail with the big head one and he put some proper people there and don't put she back. The parking meter lady, I hope he put she back. I hope he put she back. Right? The parking meter concept is a beautiful one. If you understand mobility and so on, and the need for regulated parking spaces in the city, it's a beautiful one. But that anchor that they were hoisting on the people of Georgetown's neck at that price tag, as I was driving into Wismar, crossing that iconic bridge, they're building a new one. We started doing the feasibility study and so on, and the design and so on since the last administration, the afternoon AFC. I thought, what can be the price across here? Well, last year I tried to cross the Berbice Bridge that these Jagabas and Trench Crapper built. Arm and a leg. Arm and a leg. Folks, apologies there. Arm and a leg. Arm and a leg. Arm and a leg. You got to think. Arm and a leg. Right? When last you tried to cross the Berbice, you can't do it. It's so expensive. It is so expensive. Right? It is so expensive to do that. You got to approach the bridge with a lot of faith. I forgot we didn't have this thing here plugged in directly. And so it's telling me the battery needs to be changed. We're going to swap it out. We're going to swap it out. Yeah. It's an arm and a leg. They're boasting that they're bringing this new bridge and all of that. But what can be the cost? Right now, it's $60 for a car to cross the bridge here in the mining town. $60. Right? It's about $1,900 on the Berbice Bridge. That's what I started thinking about as I was crossing it. What is going to be the cost to cross the bridge? What's going to be the cost? Because that's something we got to address. That is something we need to address. That is certainly something we have to address. Definitely something we need to address. Right? What's going to be the cost for that? What's going to be the cost for that? Is it going to be exorbitant? Right? Is it going to be? Well, we're going to look and see. We're just going to look and see. Is it going to be exorbitant? We have to have a look see. Apologies there, folks. So that's that. People's Mail. And I know Ubraj is going to go on to do well. You know, I know he is going to go on to do extremely well. Where's Sue? You know, we lose sight of some of these issues. It's a powerful letter in today's Traffic News. Where is Sue? That's the big question being asked. Your boy Oli talking about a lot of things. And I don't know how people can be persuaded by these jacobas and trench rappers after that scandal. You remember him coming out and see how he was so aggrieved that Sue had defamed him and sully his name and all of that. Where is Sue? Where is Sue? He said he was going to sue him for defamation and libel and all of that. How is that going? You see? How you going to rebuke who you're sleeping with? How? That was just for public consumption. You could imagine them men meeting in the living room again and saying, look, Story, you don't worry now. You good. You know? Seal, you seal. Pong, we good, man. You don't worry now. We got to do out there for make them feel like, you know, bap, 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 bap. Right? But you good. Business as usual. You understand me? They got scanning over the door. See who got on fake face and, you know, who coming in with wires and so on. Business as usual. Where is Sue? Whatever happened to that? I'm going to sue him. You know? Sue accused him of corruption. Sue spoke his mind with Isabel Young. Spoke his mind with Isabel Young. He said, I'm going to sue him. Defamation and ding and this and that. Now, if you know the character that Jack Joe is, right, you know he coming vicious. Right? How much people he done sue? He sue Annette Ferguson, this body, that body, this one. Right? Annette is 27 million richer, by the way. 27 million richer, by the way. Right? You know they can drag out for get you the money. They can carry it to the world court before they get you the money. Right? But he said he was so aggrieved by Sue. And yet to date, I don't even know if the case ever filed. Right? It's fluff and bluff. That's what you call it. Fluff and bluff. Right? Fluff and bluff. Now, the Guyana Chronicle this morning, right? Listen to the headline. And it's people like him instigate this kind of misinformation. Just like how I can sue and my character damage and all of that was BS. Right? Was BS. They're the ones who instigate these kinds of headlines. Look at this headline in the Guyana Times. Guyana Chronicle this morning. The Chronicle. APNU refuses to accept trashing it got in Georgetown and other areas. Folks, that's a headline in the state paper. You want to see misinformation? APNU refuses to accept trashing it gets in Georgetown. Right? PP got 11,000 something votes, or 12, let's say 12,000. APNU got 20 plus thousand. How is that trashing? You see? And that's printed in the state papers. You see, anybody don't buy that? Right? This is how they want to let their supporters believe they've done so well, beguile their supporters. That's how they hope to beguile their supporters. And I'm hearing in terms of municipalities, Apnu is way ahead in terms of the vote count, right? In municipalities. So they said they've won seven out of 10 towns. Then how come Apnu got 30 something thousand votes and you're all in the 20s overall in municipalities? Right? We won 7 towns, but you lose the popular vote. Right? And then boys, that's a trashing. Apnu has 20,000 plus votes in Georgetown. They got about 12,000. That's a trashing. But this is allowed to be a header in the state paper. Apnu refused to accept trashing in Georgetown. Whatever 8,000 vote difference is a trashing, my God. Right? Yeah, the proper dunce over that in Chronicle. Is everybody? You got some good reporters there in Chronicle. Right? But this is allowed to pass. It means you got a couple dunce ones in the midst there. You got a couple dunce ones in the midst there. Right? This is the headline, folks. I'm telling you. Refuse to accept trashing in Georgetown. So you're the winner, you get trash. Right? Like your old boy said, Chase Green lost the constituency by a big margin. The candidate they put up as the first past the post candidate lost. Right? But he said it was a near wipeout for Apnu. Misinformation, disinformation. And Leader of the Lines for Change came out after that and said something that is even more poignant now, potent than I think it ever was. Clarity is power. In the age of misinformation and disinformation, ladies and gentlemen, clarity is power. I love that. Right? Sometimes you want a big, profound statement. Right? Einstein had an elegant theory of everything. E equals what? MC square? The theory of everything, they call it. E equals MC. I hope I'm calling it right. Simple, elegant theory. Sometimes you want a big, whole, long thing to surmise what is a simple truth. Clarity is power. Misinformation, Apnu refuses to accept trashing in Georgetown. Like where? Like where? 20,000 votes to 12. That's where you would call a wipeout. Right? So I don't know where they're going with that. Right? I don't know where they're going with that. And then he goes on to say here that another headline, we have a plan to change the city. Folks, in cases like this, you have to ask them to clarify. Right? Watch them coming after the vendors. Right? And those properties that some of them have their eyes on, watch them with that. And when they say they have a plan for the city, Margaret Nelson and John and Savita Richards, Arlene, Ruben, Benjamin, and Naomi and so on, when they say they got a plan, right? It's not working with City Hall, I want you to know that. They are going to work in spite of City Hall in the exact way they have been doing. City Hall employs a lot of people whose sole task is keeping the city spick and span. And you could keep employing them if you have income coming in. Rates and taxes are being paid up. I never see Jack Joe once say, businessmen in the city, pay up your taxes. He would never do that because the aim is to strangle City Hall financially. Right? Why not make a bigger, subvention to City Hall that helps it to do more work? Why not partner with City Hall for the cleanup? Partner with City Hall, in the other ways in which you can. They're not going to do that with a City Hall that is administered by Apnu. Right? They're not going to do that even with more councillors there. So when they says we have a plan for City Hall, and irrespective that our candidates didn't win or we don't control City Hall, we will go ahead with our plan. Right? That's only because people started asking, so why you got to wait to control City Hall to help as a government? Why is that? Right? So again, more disinformation, but they're going to work with City Hall, even if you can see them doing a couple of things around Georgia. They're going to be working with City Hall, right? To say, GPL, pay up the billions that you owe. Government of Guyana, you owe some some money. Let's give City Hall a tranche of it so that it can do its work. No, 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 no. They can go in spite of City Hall and do whatever they got to do. Bullyism, yet again. So those are just couple of the headlines we're pulling out, just as it regards to Big Head, right? Just as regards to that. Where is Sue? Again, a letter I see penned by MP Ganesh Maipal. In the living room, Isabel Young brought a gentleman posing as an investor, and they're ready to sell me out like they're selling us daily to ExxonMobil. Sue handles all the agreements. I am the government side. He has my support. Exactly what Isabel Young said about the middleman Sue. And months later, investigation has gone nowhere. Yesterday's Traffic News editorial was interesting. It was talking about some of the industrial accidents we've had and the fact that the government refuses to hold people like Bosai accountable and other players industrially for accidents that have happened on their watch. And the same kind of thing that's playing out with ExxonMobil, as against being a regulator, as against being an oversight body, as against exercising a supervisory jurisdiction, right? They seem to be in cahoots. Yeah. And again, I say, if real issues are on the ballot, how could PP win? We have to. It's going to take us a little while to get it done, but we got to revert to an issues-based politics. I don't know if revert is the right word because we might have never been that. We have to return to an issues-based politics. Folks, that's going to do it for us. And it's 1,600 plus of you watching us across social media, guys. We are tremendously privileged. We are tremendously humbled by that. Thanks for joining this very special edition of our morning program. We are in Linden for another 24 hours, or so might be 72, because there is a motorcade on Sunday as well. But we're watching it. We're taking each day as they come. We are taking each day as they come, and that's going to do it for us. Yeah, where is Sue? Where is Sue? That's the big question. That's the big question indeed. Good to have you, Donna Joseph, all the big people. Lily and Glenford Gordon, Gary Archer, Ann Kearns, Susan Kansas asking the same question. Where is Sue? Yvonne Ramasar is here as well, and Magnell Barrow. Folks, again, we encourage you to support our program financially. It enables us to come and do stuff that we're doing here, see what's happening underground, what's happening with the people, and try to amplify the voices. That's what we're about. At the core of what we do here, whether it's FYI, whether it's the podcast Below the Belt or In the Ring, or what generally we're trying to do with credible sources, is to amplify the voices that are squeezed out from NCN, squeezed out from the room with the news, squeezed out from Chronicle. Amplify those voices. And that's the way they try to exert political dominance. Here in Linden, throughout a whole electoral cycle, imagine that. You could have the opposition having no airtime. Right? And I'm surprised. Sarah Lynch and them, quiet. Right? You got Jane Miller and so on, quiet. A whole electoral cycle, the opposition is locked out of state media. Right? Election or no election, locked out of state media. And we quiet. But Press Freedom Day, they're going to say, oh, we practice. Look, we do 2 articles that slam the opposition. So we covering the opposition. Right? And that's why the work that we do is so critical. At least we think so. Amplifying the voices you won't ordinarily hear. Right? Last evening, you'd only hear Sharma Salman had something. But we want to be part of amplifying voices. And that's what we're trying to do at the core of our mission, is amplifying voices. Right? Thanks for joining us this morning. Thanks for joining us this morning. What kind of bake y'all having at your end? That's going to do it for us. Folks, we're going to see you on our next broadcast. Take care. Yolanda Thomas, by you, by your end. Marilyn, by your end. I think I met your daughter last evening. Yolanda, I think I met your daughter. Marilyn, ask her for me if it's the right person. I think I met your daughter. I know that's just big kids. You age well, like fine, fine, wine. You age well. Have a great day, folks, and take care. Have a great day. That's it. Person they said. Take care.